I give the floor to John and Jan from SpeechTrans. So John and Jan, take it away.
Hi, how are you? My name is Jan Auerbach. I'm the co-founder and COO of SpeechTrans. What SpeechTrans is, it's a universal language translator. It actually lets you speak in one language, and it will translate and speak aloud anything you say into any other language. We've been around since 2010, and we've made some great traction. We've been featured on Fox News, NBC, USA Today, and some even say that we are the leader in the industry based on some of the partnerships and the contracts that we've obtained in the short time that we've been in business. So the speech translation industry, it's a huge industry across the world. As you can see, currently 34.85% of the interpretation services are done within the US. We see a large growing number of translation requirements over the next few years in Africa in particular. Their internet bandwidth is growing by 79% year over year. And our first telephone company that we're deploying our automated speech interpreter to is actually MTN Nigeria with 57 million subscribers starting in January. So we actually have a product that was built to sit inside of the telco's data center and can real-time automate and translate and interpret not only conversations, it can transcribe meetings, and it can also add a live interpreter on the line, one of over 20,000 live interpreters that we partner with several different companies to provide an end-to-end solution for our customers so that they're never left without being able to communicate in the most cost-effective and efficient way possible. So meet the team. My name, again, is Jan Auerbach. Previously, I was at the world's oldest venture capital firm, BVP at Bessemer. I was their IT systems admin, but it also gave me unparalleled access inside of all the startups that would come in on a weekly basis, such as LinkedIn, Pinterest, Box.net, Twilio. Those are just in the 4.5 years that I was there. Blue Apron was one of my colleagues who worked at my job in the same location. 2 years after starting his company, he got a $500 million valuation. So I was surrounded by some of the smartest people in the world, and I kind of learned that what it takes to build a company, it's basically building blocks, it's a network of systems, and how those systems are combined together in a way that can automate and scale the business. That's how you cross the chasm, and that's how you're able to beat 90% of the startups that fail, because usually they fail because the founders get spread too thin and they're unable to meet the customer's expectations, and that's the most common reason in the venture field, at least. One of the strengths that we have is not only our team, but also our partners and our advisors and our mentors. So some of the mentors that we have brought on along the way include Carl Albero, who became a board member previously. He worked for a company called SAIC, and he sold his company AMSEC to SAIC back in 1993 for over $500 million. So Carl is now on our board. He's a consultant, and he's an expert at taking a company from the garage to the enterprise and everything that's needed along the way. So very, very fortunate to have him on board. Falabi Ayula, he's a Harvard Business School graduate who's on the ground in Africa, who's actually dealing with all of the telcos there. So we've got MTN also working on contracts with Globacom, Vodafone, and Epsilon. So it takes a network of resellers to be able to expand globally, and that's what we've done with Falabi. We've been working with him for a few years, and he was able to get us the contract with the telco. We also have Steve Dyer, who spent 18 years on Wall Street, Gary Orsolini, who's the director of personal systems group at Hewlett-Packard, and just in general, very high-level skilled people that we bring together to collaborate on whatever their expertise is in, whether it's marketing. We work with Forbes' top marketing company, or if it's development or software, we've actually been funded by Microsoft, and they've provided our user interface and our application development budget to date. So as we talk about our applications and being cross-platform, it's a good time to mention that we're also, above everything else, a software as a service company that's solution oriented. So our customers, B2B or B2E, we separate business to business and business to enterprise, and business to consumer in different categories, and then we funnel and niche down till each one until quote unquote it hurts. So that way we can focus on providing the customers the solutions that they need and do it in a way where we automate it, so we only have to set it up once and then we don't have to do it again. And that's how we build our whole philosophy. It's about assessing, planning, implementing, measuring, and improving every opportunity that comes our way. So one opportunity includes Hewlett-Packard, where they saw me on Fox News 3 years ago, speaking into the phone in English. It translated into Spanish. And the director of the personal systems group at that time called us up and said, hey, I saw you on Fox News, I downloaded your application, and I was able to speak to my wife in Spanish. Now I know what the in-laws have been saying about me all these years. I want to work with you guys. So flash forward 3 years after 2 potential splits and just us being persistent, we're now on every HP device. We're embedded inside of an application called HP My Room, which had 7 billion minutes last year. HP My Room is similar to what we're on right now, the GoToMeeting. However, it can handle 500 participants. It has full speech translation powered by us. And it also has the ability to transcribe your phone calls in real time. So as you're speaking, you don't have to take notes. And that's all powered by our technology. So we talk about our other partners. Microsoft, they funded us and they've helped create our designs for the SpeechTrans products and the brands. And because of our technology on being able to do audio processing, we were the first ones to have a speech recognition enabled product on the Windows 8 store.
Jan, just we're out of time here,
Sure.
so if you can just take a few seconds to wrap up, that would be great.
Sure. So the last thing I wanted to mention is Intel is also going to be preloading us on all of their devices. So we have the opportunity to scale from a 1.1 million user base to 100 million users. And the conversion rates that we're seeing, because we're about measuring and improving, we see that 0.5% of the free users upgrade to a $1.99 subscription, and 3% of those users are converting to our upsell, which includes the conference call transcriptioning or the remote microphone, which lets you speak into your phone and then control your computer and the internet of everywhere. Eliminates the barrier from having a voice call, which is analog, to a digital PC or internet connection. That's what our technology does at the core. And then we help our customers achieve their goals with that technology by white labeling it and licensing it. And so far this year, we've, I believe, just crossed the $1 million threshold out of our $1.3 million round. We've started the round back in April, and we've been building it through crowdfunding. We're continuing to grow the company out. We're almost doubling in size every 3 months, and we only see the opportunity getting larger because, like I mentioned, 34 billion is what Gartner predicts this year's translation spend will be, and 150 billion is what they predict it will be in 2020, and we'll have been around 10 years by then.
Sorry, Jan, to cut you off here. We really have to wrap up.
No problem, Tanya.
Okay, great, perfect. So let's now shift the conversation to the panelists. John, you're up for questions. Any follow-up questions up to a minute?
Very good progress and success over the 4 years. You've got some real good accomplishments, and it's great to have somebody who's been there before on our side trying to operate a company. And my real question to you would be, what have you learned and what was unexpected in operating the company and trying to meet plan as the owner-operator as opposed to the VC? And congratulations on what I think is a reasonable valuation on this round of finance. But what have you learned?
Sure. So the biggest thing for us, the pivotal moment happened when we switched from being an app to being an actual company. And this was something we always looked at when I was at BVP. Is it an app or is it a company? Is there a recurring revenue business model? And if there's not, how sustainable is it? So up until this past April, we did not have a recurring revenue business model. We were considered an app. We did the pivot, and with that, we had to rebuild all of our applications from the ground up, focusing on the user experience and the retention. And with that, we've been able to see 137% month-over-month growth, We're talking to several VCs. We're able to see the retention of the users is nearly 100%. There's been no churn, and we focus on providing white glove care and seeing the month-over-month growth by being able to have such high percentage of upselling. That shows that what we're doing is working, and then with the analytics, we can monitor what's working, replicate it, and then what's not working, we can get rid of it or fix it quickly. And that's the most important thing, almost as important as the product is the analytics to improve the product.
Oh, that's great, and hopefully the audience will understand that it's not a straight line, and that you've got a good story about how to pivot. And I'll defer to Leslie because time is short.
Thank you so much, John. All right, Leslie, you're up.
What inspired you to start this company? What problem were you trying to solve?
Absolutely. So when I was in elementary school, I actually was pulled out of class one day because there was a gentleman suffering from a heart attack. And this was in the Bronx, New York. I was the only Russian-speaking person in my school at that time. And I actually helped save his life. I was able to communicate and translate. And when I had the opportunity to start a company with my business partner, John Fry, basically it resonated with me because we're both immigrants here. English was technically our second language. And having the opportunity to really just make someone's lives easier, be able to help people out and eliminate the language barrier, that's our motivation and our passion. We put people at the forefront and technology second, and we try to make the technology as transparent as possible.
That is an incredibly cool story, and I would pull it up to the front of everything you talk about, because what you've talked about is a great technology, and you guys have some terrific traction, as John said, but what you just gave is just this amazing context on why you feel and know that this is an important thing for the world, and that makes it much more exciting for investors. So very cool. Thanks.
It's definitely a huge passion of ours, and being able to tell the story is something we're constantly working on and improving and making stronger with each time that we give the presentation. But that's terrific feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Okay, great. Andy, you're up.
Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, good to be talking to you again.
Hi, Andy.
I'm very pleased that you brought Carl Albero on board. I think he's a heck of a businessman, and he's going to be able to help you. So congratulations on that front. So listen, I know you have several major, powerful partners, and you've made considerable, but rather impressive progress in your traction in your initiatives with most, if not all of them. But I don't know how freely you can speak about this, but in terms of looking forward, what partner do you see the most upside with, and why would that be so?
So because it's funny, our three partners are HP, Microsoft, and Intel. They're all kind of joined at the hip in this kind of a quote-unquote frenemy relationship. So excuse me, they're all tied together. The one that I think is going to play out to be the most interesting is Intel. This is the Intel roadmap for the business apps portfolio. So the business apps portfolio, basically, it's a list of 14 apps that anytime you buy a new tablet, whether it's a Dell, Lenovo, HP, it comes with 14 apps preloaded, and SpeechTrans has been selected to be one of those apps. So currently it's been launched. It was only 12 apps, now it's 14. They include Office 365, Skype. So that's going to be going out to all the Intel tablets. Over 40 million devices next year will be preloaded with SpeechTrans. It'll make us a household name, and then if we see the same conversion rates, it's just going to be blown through the roof. Now, in the addition to that, we've also introduced HP to Intel because we understand business is about building relationships, making introductions. So the division of HP we've been working with, the productivity system, is actually going to be embedded into all the Intel devices as well, even if it's a non-HP device, because this can be used for screen sharing, sending documents, and doing speech translation. And I actually had a call with Intel yesterday that said the CEO of Intel is going to talk about SpeechTrans and the HP My Room opportunity in terms of their future growth and putting additional resources towards this initiative. So, I mean, it's made it all the way to the top level of Intel as the CEO is going to be mentioning this program in our company. So I think it can't get any more important than that, because for them, productivity and workability is at their forefront, and it's been that way for us for years, because we've got 26 employees. We all work in different parts of the world, and we're able to do that with HP MyRoom. I'm actually meeting our Chief Technology Officer face-to-face for the first time in January. We've been using HP MyRoom, and just because we live in different countries doesn't mean we're not as productive or don't do as much work. It means we are as productive, and we actually get more done because we're able to do it at a much lower cost and be more effective, but still we have the same type of relationship. So that's what we build out and give to our customers as well, that capability.
Thank you, Jan. It really does sound very promising. Thank you very much.
Okay, wonderful. Andy, thank you so much. Jan, wonderful. We're going to go ahead and shift really quickly a few audience questions. So the first question comes from Sanjeev. Sanjeev would like to know, can you give us a 30-second demo of the product?
So this is the Windows desktop version. It lets you speak in 44 languages. It's all touch screen, or you can actually just click with the mouse and you begin speaking. It listens to anything that you said. It then speaks it out loud in the other language, whether it's on the same device. And this is exactly what I just said, and it's actually speaking it in Russian. And then, so that's the baseline package. On the Windows desktop, that's $10 a month to be able to do that. If you're a doctor, or if you're anyone that wants to be able to dictate or translate speech on their computer, this will be preloaded on all of your devices as long as it has an Intel chip starting next year. But the upsell, the really interesting technology that no one else has, and this is what one of our patents is on, which we have 4 patents, is this right here. So this is what's called the remote microphone. This uses our technology that bridges the gap between an analog telephone call and a digital signal on the computer. So I just dialed out from my computer to my phone, and now it becomes a dictaphone. So anywhere I place the mouse on my computer, as long as I have my phone connected, I can speak into it, and then it will type whatever it is I'm saying. So this is the phone call.
SpeechTrans hearing impaired service. Press 5 to turn on or off automatic speech review.
So now let's say I'm on a conference call, and this is just one of the channels on that conference call. Anything that's being spoken on the call will be typed out here, and then we have automatic start of speech, end of speech detection. And if I'm in a Word document, if I'm in a Salesforce or SAP application, if I put the mouse there, all the notes will go right into the application while I'm on the call. And this is $20 a month. It's called Remote Mic, and 3% of our base users are upgrading to this capability.
One thing that you should probably note is SpeechTrans will be closing their round on December 31st. So really, there's a couple more weeks before we go ahead and close the round, which means the end of an opportunity to invest. Okay, wonderful. So